Have a listen to this. Have a listen to this.
Interest rates are higher. I know people don't like that, but you should be welcoming the stronger economy.
And maybe a deal has a point about the machinery of capitalism being oiled with the blood of the workers.
The United States is a country that has always paid all of its bills.
Lannister always pays his debts.
Don't let the bastards get you.
Hello and welcome back to Comedian versus Economist. It's good to have you here. My name's Adam and we're joined as always by my little older brother and real life economist, Thomas. Hi, Thomas.
G'day, Adam. How you doing?
Doing very well, thank you. Hey, let's get stuck straight on in. Massive show coming up. They say money makes the world go round. Well, now there's more money going around than ever before. And new data shows we love to make love when it's hot. Not Thomas and I, of course, that'd be weird, but we generally as people, yeah, we'll get into that. And chickens, Thomas, are getting bigger, which presumably means the eggs are also getting bigger, which of course begs the question, which came first, the big eggs or the big chicken? Tackling all the big chicken issues here, but first, Thomas, millennial recession. Is that just balding in your 20s or is that something else?
This is something that Goldman Sachs, they said there's a millennial recession going on. So younger households, millennials in particular, are seeing the biggest fall in real disposable income.
Right.
So down 7 to 10%, much worse than other age groups.
So what are millennials? Where are we pegging millennials? They're sort of,
I think like 90s.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
the millennials are 2000 something.
Yeah, something like that. Well, the Zoomers is the generation after them. I don't know exactly when Zoomers start.
Zoomers.
That's what Goldman Sachs calls it.
Yeah, right.
I've also heard it called Alf. I don't know.
Goldman Sachs being a bunch of boomers.
Yeah.
Just looking to deflect. Create enough confusion when someone calls out, okay, boomer. Oh, did you say okay, Zoomer? No.
Yeah.
Right.
Goldman Sachs makes the point that because millennials are sort of doing it tough financially, but they're also kind of like in your sort of prime consumption age group.
Yeah.
Because you're sort of having kids and have a high disposable consumption. It's going to be a bit of a slow rebound in consumption, they reckon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're forecasting a very slow rebound in consumption. You can check out their forecast on our charts feed.
At CVE Podcast or on the website, equitymates.com/CVE.
Yeah, so sluggish.
So why is it millennials, are they sort of working less? Do they have less disposable income? Like, what is this? What's behind it?
I think probably that they're either renting or in the early stages of paying off a mortgage.
Right.
So rents have gone up substantially and then interest rates hurt you more the bigger your outstanding balance on your mortgage is. Compared to Gen X, they've got bigger balances, so it hurts them more, I think, is probably most of it.
Is it possible they also got into, if they are recently mortgaged, that they got in when in the good part of COVID, which was low interest rates, and they're now getting stung by the cliff by, surging interest rates. So they get in with they're budgeting for 2% or something because that was serviceability at the time, even though interest rates were at 0.5%. And now they're up sort of, 6-7%. Maybe they're particularly susceptible.
Yeah, they kind of got sucker punched by interest rates. But interesting thing though, so we got retail sales data last week and that was actually up a tonking 0.7% in August. So much bigger than expected. And the ABS put it all down to warmer than usual weather for this time of year. So apparently that's a big boost of sales.
No. Disagree, ABS. Really? Warmer weather. That's the best we could come up with. So we're buying more things and it's because it's warmer.
Yeah, they saw an unusually large pickup in sales of summer clothing, liquor, outdoor dining, hardware, gardening items, camping goods, and outdoor equipment.
But it's not like summer and spring don't happen every year. This is surely some kind of cyclical spending going on. Are they saying they just brought it forward, or that there's buying when they wouldn't have otherwise done so? Because I don't know, like we went camping over the October long weekend, right? We went camping. We bought some stuff probably to go camping. We booked that in months ago. We weren't like, oh, it's balmy. It's balmy out. Why don't we go to
party?
Go buy some new camping mugs.
Yeah,
Right.
well, the data doesn't lie. I think that's what. I mean,
the interpretation of the data can lie. If you can, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it was a stronger than expected result.
Correlation, Thomas. Correlation does not equal causation.
Yeah. Okay. Or you think what would you, if it's not the warmer weather? What are you putting their boots?
It could be any number of things. I don't know. Like we got some tax cuts. We got well, this is in the US, right? No, this is Australia.
Aussie data.
Yeah, of course.
Aussie data.
It's cold in the US. Well, I don't know. Like it's maybe just sales. Maybe shops discounting things. Maybe I don't have the data.
Maybe.
Thomas.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, the ABS do, and this is what they're saying. So,
All right, Thomas, I was perusing the Global Liquidity Index the other day.
Oh, yes.
Things seem to have turned.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Yeah, it's picked up. The world is becoming more liquid, more cash abundant.
Okay.
Interest rates are coming down as part of that story. But yeah, there's more liquidity about. Yeah, the chart we've got here is from Cross Border Capital, and they overlay a 65-month cycle from the 2000s onward.
Weirdly specific.
And
65 months?
Yeah, I think this is one of these things. It's like,
How long should we make the cycle? Oh, it's 65 months? Yeah. Good one. Lock it in.
It's not a super tight correlation, but there's a bit of a cycle there. Things get tight and then they get loose again.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, but we're just coming off peak tightness and starting to loosen up again.
So what does that mean, tightness? Does that mean like, so look, like I think of liquidity, like people are, if you're thinking about it, like buying and selling shares in stocks, you want it really liquid because there's lots of people buying and there's lots of people selling. So that when it gets tight, we're saying people just kind of hold on to things. They're not, money's not going around. Is that?
No.
Okay.
I think that's something that's something entirely different.
Okay.
No, liquidity here is terms like just how much cash is in the system. I think how much money's moving around, which is sort of a function of the money supply itself and then interest rates.
Right.
I think is what goes into this index.
So we saw a massive money supply injection during COVID. So then it dropped off again. We started to pull it all out.
We did. Well, we didn't do a lot. We didn't do a great job of pulling it out. We pulled it out for a little bit in 2022.
Right.
The change in the global money supply went negative for about 6 months. We mopped some of that up, but now it's starting to lift again. And the other chart we've got here is global money supply. Year-on-year change is 7.3 trillion, which is a big increase in the money supply. Like it's sort of half of what we saw during COVID, but prior to that, we never saw anything quite so large. So yeah, money supply is sort of ramping up again, it looks like.
And is that intentional? Like, is that people just like we're intentionally kind of ramping up money supply and putting money back into the system, or that's just organic?
I think so. I mean, there hasn't been a very, there wasn't much fanfare about it. If the global central banks have started printing money again.
Not like last time. There was flag waving going on last time for the money printing. So politicians out and about spruiking it. It was all sorts. It was kicking off. There was opponents of it saying, stop, it's gonna get inflationary, and we all said, no, shut up, don't worry about it. And then inflation happened. Yeah. Right, but this time we're just kind of sneaking it in. We're just quietly ramping it up. Yeah.
I mean, it's global, so I'm not sure like which central banks are responsible for the majority of that. I don't have to dig into that a bit. But it is interesting because it tends to be seen as price positive for kind of all assets, really.
All assets?
Yeah, because like there's more money going around, then it's sort of better for everything, from stocks to crypto.
You telling me I can't lose? Just buy everything. Well, I think we talked about buy everything back, I don't know, a year or two ago on this show, that there was a time when you were like, yeah, it's just good for assets generally. So definitely not financial advice. Don't go out and buy tons of crypto because CVE told you that everything was going to go up.
We need the CVE everything ETF. Just tracks everything.
What's in the basket of goods? Everything you can possibly buy. If there's a price sticker on it, it's in the basket of goods. All right, why don't we take a break here, grab a word from this week's sponsors, and be back with more Comedian versus Economist right after this. Welcome back. You're on Comedian versus Economist. Don't forget, you can find all the charts and all of our socials, Facebook and Instagram, at CVE Podcast, or on the website, equitymates.com/CVE. If you want to get in touch with us, you can send us a message through Instagram and Facebook, or you can send us an email, cve@equitymates.com. Thomas, when it's warmer, we like to do the dirty things. We like to make the babies. You've got some data here that backs that up.
Yeah, no, it directly contradicts what you're saying. Like, I love that you've completely misread what this chart's about.
What?
Yeah. What it says is that, so this is is in The Economist, but it's from a piece in Population and Environment, 2024, the journal, Population and Environment.
Oh, I think our listeners would know it well, Thomas, the Population and Environment Journal. I think it's the other thing we like to do when the weather gets warm in bed is tuck up with the... After a bit of nookie with your favourite loved one, you just break out the Environment Journal.
Population and Environment Journal.
See how things are tracking.
Yeah. So what the authors did is they looked at 244 million births across 32 European countries between 1969 and 2021.
1969.
Yeah, nice.
Sorry, childish.
Yeah, and then what they looked at is unusually hot days, what effect that had on the birth rate.
Ah, yeah.
And what they found is that there's a substantial impact in Europe on hot days, leads to a 0.7 percentage point reduction in the birth rate.
Oh,
so
reduction.
Not massive.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that makes a lot more sense, because I was confused when I was interpreting it, obviously. Because it made no sense to me that anyone would want to do anything like that when it got really hot. Like we have, sometimes in Adelaide it gets up 45 plus, and no one's in the mood at that point.
No. And they also found that high humidity days, hot days, had a much bigger impact than low humidity days. So when it's hot and sticky, they don't want to know about it in Europe. But also their definition of hot. So their baseline is 10 degrees Celsius. So like when that's the baseline, and when so it's pretty cold. Yeah. And then a hot day was defined as 25 degrees. Which pretty perfect temperature, really.
Oh, that's magnificent. 25 degrees, like summer evening. That's got good times written all over it.
No,
well, there you go.
Europe.
Okay.
No.
Not in Europe. It's too hot.
Too hot.
Is there any other points to that?
No.
All right, Thomas, finally on the show, we've got some white hot data here from 2005, it looks like. The average size of chickens has grown significantly in the last 60 or so years. What's behind this chicken growth?
Yeah, pretty amazing infographic here that back in 1957, the average chook at adult age, or 56 days, was just under a kilogram, about 900 grams. Now, the average chook is 4.2 kilograms.
4.2?
Yeah, it's quadrupled.
Just chickens working out more? Just like easier access to
protein powder.
24-hour gyms?
Yeah.
If you believe the infographic too, then the what's called the comb of the chicken, which is the red fleshy bit on its head, much more pronounced as well.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
It could be artist interpretation. It's just the sketch artist of the chicken, just adding a bit of flair. Maybe we got better at drawing chickens over the same in that last 60 years as well. So what do we attribute the growth to?
I think it's probably down to breeding.
Oh, it makes sense.
And technology, and yeah.
Fair to say we're not chicken experts either.
That's fair to say. Yeah.
Is this the opposite of shrinkflation, do you think? Like, what is the opposite of shrinkflation? Has it ever happened before? Is it growflation? Because, I mean, presumably the chicken, like obviously the cost of if you go to the supermarket, the cost of a rotisserie chicken has gone up with inflation. I don't know what it is nowadays. What is it, about $15 or something for a chicken? But if your chicken's getting bigger, then you're getting more chook for your dollar. So maybe the $1 to kilogram ratio of your chickens maybe growing.
Maybe.
How do we play it, Thomas? How do we play it in the stock market?
Yeah.
I'm desperately searching for an economic value in this chicken chart.
Yeah. I mean, I think what it says to me is like how much technology influences food supply. So like back in the 70s in Australia, everyone thought we were going to run out of food. Because like looking at population projections and how much food we were growing, there was this big worry in the 70s that we didn't have enough food for everyone.
Yeah.
But then technology stepped in and changed the way we, farm produce, and also chickens got bigger and all these sort of things. And then, we feed everyone, no worries.
Right.
And I think this is sort of like a good representation of that story, is that chickens have got 4 times bigger over this time. It just means we're like playing our food supply differently. Like it's not, there's a technological element to the way the food supply increases.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, that's good, I guess, but it's not necessarily good for the chickens. Like, I mean, I think conditions have improved somewhat, but I'm sure there's no shortage still of farms and battery chooks and things like that. Yeah,
and like, are they designed to get that big that quickly?
Yeah.
Because like at birth, they're not massively different. Like there were 34 grams in 57 up to 44 grams now.
Yeah.
So at birth, they're about the same size, but then they just get massive really quick.
Yeah.
Now, and maybe that's not healthy.
No, I don't know what it's like with 2 young kids, and they grow the rate that they grow. You're forever buying them new shoes, new pants. Like imagine keeping pace with the growth of the chooks. You'd be forever, I don't know, what do chickens wear these days? Still nothing? We haven't started. We haven't started. That'll be the next step. I think that's the next step for the chickens, isn't it? Now that they're finally bigger and a bit more, we can take them more seriously. Maybe they will start wearing pants, but then that's just going to create a whole new industry and new problems. All right.
Go long chicken pants.
All right, don't say we don't give you insightful and valuable advice and insight on this show. But that does do us for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget you can find all of the charts on Instagram and Facebook at CVE Podcast, and on the website equitymates.com/CVE. And we'd love it if you gave the show a rating and a review. Maybe not the chicken segment, but the other content. Wherever you get your podcast, leave us a review. That does help a lot. But until then, from Comedian versus Economist, it is bye for now.
Comedian vs Economist is a product of Equity Mates Media. All information in this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional finance, legal, or tax advice. The hosts of Comedian vs Economist are not financial professionals and are not aware of your personal financial circumstances. Before making any financial decisions, you should read the product disclosure statement and, if necessary, consult a licensed financial professional. Do not take financial advice from a podcast. For more information, head to the disclaimer page on the Equity Mates website, where you can find ASIC resources and find a registered financial professional near you. In the spirit of reconciliation, Equity Mates Media and the hosts of Comedian vs Economist acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today.